What's up, guys? Today I am giving you a rundown of my current gaming setup used to drive trucks across the Midwest, fly across the galaxy, and stream with high frame rates, thanks to a new piece of hardware that just released from AVerMedia. My name is Bigfry, and this is as close to a dream setup I can get to in 2023. Gaming is moving at a tremendous pace, and as games improve in visual quality, we as gamers want to push the envelope when it comes to performance, especially on PC. You guys have asked for this kind of video for years, but this is my battle station. 4 monitors, 2 PCs, all powered by this little device in the corner. This is the AVerMedia Live Gamer Ultra 2.1, a small external capture card that is a revolutionary change in the content creator space. This little RGB beauty is the first card on the market to allow capture up to 4K 60 FPS with 4K 144 Hz pass-through. That's a lot of letters and numbers, but what does it all mean? So up until recently, when I've streamed from my gaming PC, the video pass-through has only ever been able to get up to 1440p at 144 Hz. So if you were watching a stream of mine, you'd see 1440p at 60 FPS, which I think is more than acceptable for streaming. But with my BenQ Mobius monitors all being at 4K, I would also be locked to 60 FPS, and if I wanted higher frames, I would have to sacrifice resolution. This is the first of 2 cards coming out of AVerMedia, with the internal Live Gamer Ultra 2.1 supposedly dropping later this year. Now, this external card is replacing my old AVerMedia Live Gamer 4K, which at this point is severely outdated with the way people's systems are set up now. And again, that card was only ever able to put out 4K at 60 FPS, and even then, when doing recording through the card, you guys would see a lot of screen tearing in my videos when I opted to use stream recording for my content here on YouTube. So just running through my setup here, I have a gaming PC with a 12900K, 64 gigs of RAM, and a 3090 Ti routing through a streaming PC, which is where my AVerMedia card is plugged into. That streaming PC takes the video from my gaming PC and sends it out to you when I stream. But that's only one piece of this puzzle. When utilizing a 2 PC setup, you still have to route audio from one PC to another and vice versa. Because on my streaming PC, I have things like sound alerts for when people subscribe, I have Spotify playing on that PC, and that's where all of my, Streamlabs and scenes are all playing when I stream. And I want to hear all that stuff playing through my headphones when my headphones are plugged into my gaming PC. I solved that by picking up a Rodecaster Pro 2 earlier this year. And side note, none of this is sponsored or paid for. AVerMedia did send me the Live Gamer 2.1 to review and use, but I can say whatever I want about it. Going back to the Rodecaster Pro 2 for a moment, this thing is a fucking godsend for content creation. Before, I had this. This is a diagram of what I had to use to get audio to and from both PCs. I had to use a mixer with a bunch of ground loop isolators, signal splitters, and multiple audio cables running all over the place. You think my cable management now is bad in these videos? Before, it was a fucking disaster. Shit looked like a Tangela in behind my monitors. And yes, I had to look up the pronunciation for that Pokemon. My entire life, I've been calling it a Tangela, so that's cool. The dope thing about this Rodecaster Pro 2 is that it's one USB cable to the gaming PC, one USB cable to the streaming PC, and that's it. I have audio that can be routed internally through the onboard software to let me send and receive audio to my headphones from wherever I need. Going back to the Live Gamer 2.1, if you're someone who uses a 1080p monitor, this thing can actually put out 240 Hz of gaming goodness. Now, one thing I was disappointed about was not having 1440p at 240 Hz pass-through on the card, but literally in the middle of recording this video, AVerMedia reached out and said that they dropped a firmware update for the card right ahead of its launch on October 19th that brings that resolution. So if you have a 240 Hz monitor and you're playing at 1440p, you can now use this to play at 240 Hz and then stream and capture at 60 FPS. This is the card that completes my dream setup, which is what you guys are seeing now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for the internal capture card releasing later this year, simply because I enjoy internal PCIe cards more than external. But I'm gonna be honest, For the size of this thing and the desk space that it takes up, and for how easy it was to just plug in and go, I don't really know if I need the internal card. So you guys can see here, it's powered by USB 3. You have your in and your out HDMI. Your in is obviously coming from your PC or your console, and then the out HDMI is running to your monitor. And then you have a jack for not only your microphone, but this little controller icon on the side is to run a cable directly from your PS5 controller to capture live chat as you're playing, which I think for the console crowd is super huge. For me, it's a feature I will never use, but if you are streaming and recording off of a console, having a direct jack that you can just run a cable to is huge. Now, the price for this card is $299 US, which is pretty steep, but when you compare that to the Elgato 4K 60 internal capture card, which usually MSRPs at $249, $50 more to utilize 2.1 pass-through, I think it's worth it. Now, with that said, AVerMedia did hook me up with a link. So if you guys wanted to purchase this, you do get a little bit of a discount by using my link down below. I don't believe I make anything off of it. It's just to get you guys some savings if you're looking for a piece of tech like this. In terms of monitors, we're basically completely BenQ'd out here. My main gaming monitor is an EX3210U. It's a 32-inch 4K 144 Hz BenQ. To the left of that, it's an EX278. It's a bunch of numbers. It's a 27-inch 1440 144 Hz monitor. Above those two is a big Sony Bravia TV. My streaming PC over to the right, that monitor is an EX270QM, which is a 27-inch 240 Hz monitor. I've debated switching this out from my main monitor to get that 240 Hz in all of my games, but I don't want to give up the 5 inches of monitor space that my main one has. It's a tough call, but I'm waiting for BenQ to make a 32-inch 4K 240 Hz monitor, and I will literally be in heaven. For my camera, I have a Lumix G7 DSLR connected to a cam link, and then for the lighting, I use the Elgato key light turned away so I'm not being blinded when I stream. For peripherals, I just picked up the Logitech G915 keyboard on Prime Day, and I'm still getting used to it, but it feels really nice. I use the Logitech G507 wireless mouse for my main driver, and on the streaming PC, I have an old Red Dragon keyboard that I use, nothing special, and a Corsair MMO gaming mouse. Since I'm not doing too much on the streaming PC, those are kind of just throwaway peripherals. For driving streams, I have the Logitech G923 steering wheel, shifter, and you can see down below, I have the Logitech pedals as well. And then one thing I did pick up way earlier this year was the Stream Deck XL, so I use that for changing scenes, playing sound alerts, anything to do with live streaming is all handled through here. I have a couple of different headsets that I switch between. The Beyerdynamic DT770s for my closed back headphones. Great sound, great isolation, and just an overall banging pair of headphones. I also rock the Audio-Technica AT900Xs. These are open backs, and I actually find that these sound better in almost every way than the DT770s, but sometimes my mic picks up the sound radiating from the open back nature, so I go through phases with them. And then the most recent tech addition is the MetaQuest 3. I've been putting this fucker through the ringer, and we'll have a more in-depth discussion video on this in the near future. For now, I'm really enjoying this headset. The surrounding room and stream background features the one and only Todd Howard, which was actually sent to me from a fan. Shout out to Cotbus. He sent this cardboard cutout from Germany, which I think is pretty cool. But the artwork I have here is from an online D&D show called Critical Role. I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, and those guys are just perfection when it comes to showing it off. Over here, I have my shelves, which were originally for merch and giveaway items, but it's since turned into a hybrid place for all of my costumes and weird hats that I use on stream. I've come a long way from an old Walmart Gateway laptop and an old Xbox 360 to where I'm at now, and it's because of products like this, because of the partnerships that I've made with these companies, and ultimately it's about you guys supporting the channel and allowing me to get to this point. I want to do more hardware reviews, but I'm honestly not a fan of just going through the specs and talking about everything that you can find on a website page somewhere. I want to give you guys my experience. I want to talk about how I actually utilize this hardware, because I'll only talk about the stuff that I actually use in my day-to-day. And I hope you guys are down for something like that. Listen, if you guys are in the market for a new capture card, AVerMedia just dropped the external cards on the 19 19th of October, and the internal PCIEs are coming later this year. I do have a link down below if you guys want a little bit of a discount on it, so check that out alongside all of their other products. Again, this isn't sponsored. They sent me this to make a video and utilize it in my streaming PC. I am an AVerMedia partner, but at the end of the day, I told them straight up, right off rip, if there is something I don't like about your products, I'm gonna fucking say it. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. My name is Bigfry, and I'll see you on the next one.